On this, Ivan Eland is Senior Fellow and Director at the Independent Institute. He joins us live from Washington, D.C. Sir, it's a pleasure having you on. Thank you for your time. Firstly, what are your thoughts on the impact this UN decision could have on people in northern Syria?
Well, I think it could have a great impact because the war has just devastated Syria in general, but in the rebel areas in particular, because the Syrian regime has been very brutal and callous towards them. And, you know, unfortunately, in wars and civil wars especially, refugees and humanitarian aid such as this often are the victims of the war, because the competing sides, in this case the Syrian government and their Russian sponsors, are really trying to use the aid as they feel it helps the rebels. And I suppose it does indirectly, but what we're talking about is women and children and human suffering. And so I think this is a really great achievement, not only for Syria, but also for the U.S. and Russia. We're cooperating with Russia again, U.S. and Russia, and they had to have that done to get the Security Council to approve it. So on two levels, I think it's a very good thing.
You mentioned it was a great impact it could have, but not many people share that sentiment. Amnesty International said that the parties were, quote-unquote, playing politics. One analyst we recently interviewed said the UN vote, at first glance, looks like a, quote, miraculous moment of U.S.-Russia cooperation with more things to come, end quote. Do you agree?
Well, I think it could, yes, depending on what happens. We've got other issues with the Russians, cyber hacking and that sort of thing, which will depend on the general U.S.-Russia cooperation. But I think, you have to look at this in perspective. They had 4 routes open to the rebels for humanitarian aid before. And of course, the Russians got it down to 1. And, if this was closed down, there wouldn't be any. So I agree with the U.S. ambassador in that, this is very important for Syria, because otherwise, if this route is closed down, it's disastrous for the people of northern Syria in Idlib. And so I think, of course, we'd like to have more avenues open, all 4 of them, but that's not going to happen. So I think we have to take what we can get, and that's a one route for 12 months.
Right, Mr. Eland, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.